It's lovely to see you all again. See some familiar faces. See some new faces. What I'm enjoying is about. Oh, I'm Joe Weston. So we're here to do our weekly global meditation on lasting peace. With working with this image of that, the more we can continue to do this and connect with people from around the world. We are weaving what I call a golden thread of compassion through the world, and feeling that we're in a time when those of us who do hold values of equality for all, for love and compassion, respect for all, for honor for all, that we connect in as many ways, all the ways that we can. Because we're not, in a sense, getting the support from the media, for instance. Connecting with people to meditate on love and compassion and goodwill for all people doesn't get as much media coverage as some of the other things happening in the world. And so any ways that we can connect with each other to support one another, and if not only to create stronger alliances with each other, to also know that there's a place you can come to if you're feeling discouraged, if you're feeling isolated, if you're feeling alone, that you're not alone. And that if you do some investigating, you'll see that there are individuals and organizations around the world who do support basic values of generosity and respect and honor for others. And what we're doing here is just making sure that we stay connected with each other and support each other in any ways we can. So again, welcome. And I've been thinking a lot about that. In terms of this idea of resilience, that it's so easy if we're not grounded, and if we're not focused, and if we're not doing our practices, and if we're not staying connected with ourselves, and however we're doing that it is very easy, I find for myself, to get caught up in the roller coaster of the polarity. And that it's very easy. I was just reading somewhere a little proverb or something, that a man was trying to save a snake who was in peril, and the snake would bite him, and he dropped the snake, but he went back in and tried to help that snake, and the snake bit again. And someone said, "Why do you keep helping the snake? This because you keep getting bit." And he said, "Well, the nature of the snake is to bite. Doesn't mean I have to take on that same nature. I can still hold on to my nature, which is to support and help others." And I'm just thinking about that for these, I see on Facebook and on other social media that people who do hold values of respect for all and equality for all, saying, "Oh, I'm just so tired," from one report after another about what's not only happening in the United States, but what's happening in other parts of the world. "I'm so tired." And it makes sense. It's tiring, to that constant onslaught of inhumanity and disrespect and unkindness towards others, and not only as individuals, but also as a policy. some inhumane policies. And the question is, what are we doing to stay resilient? And what are we doing to stay connected with ourselves? And most importantly, staying connected to and continuously reminding ourselves of our true nature. And I'm going to make an assumption for those of you who are on this call, that you hold certain values of respect and honor and dignity for all, and a desire to alleviate the suffering of others, and to overcome some of the separations and the polarities that are keeping us from connecting with one another. I can go on for hours about this, but I want to just, as some of you know, but I want to just set that up, and it's particularly around, particularly in the northern hemisphere, when we're coming into the winter months, when our resistance might be lower and our resilience might be more challenged. What are we doing to take care of ourselves? What are we doing to connect with others? And what are the practices we're having to not only remind ourselves of who we are truly in our hearts, but to actually practice it so that we become stronger in that, and we increase our capacity to be able to share it, with less effort, by just being it, and by cultivating that level of power within, that it's anchored, that it's not just a temporary thing, but it's a constant thing. It's something you can maintain and contain. Then you instantly attract and find yourselves engaging with other people who are resonating from that same frequency, that same those same levels of heart dynamics, of compassion, of respect, of honor, and you start allying, and then you go from power within to power with. And suddenly we've created stronger allies. And in a sense, by doing that without having to actually even address the systems that have power over, that are using power over as a way to dominate us and keep us in this polarity, by just finding power within and allying with others who share a similar value, we've just become stronger, which doesn't make those in power weaker. It just makes our power more effective to stand face to face with that power, and to not bully a bully, but to find more creative, skillful ways of addressing some of the issues we're dealing with. When we find that we are more empowered within, and we engage with others who are sharing similar values, we just naturally want to share the capacity we have from a spontaneous desire in our hearts for alleviating the suffering of others. We just naturally band together to which we call power two, which is to empower those who are less fortunate and can't find or don't have the capacity or the circumstances to do the luxurious thing that we get to do, which is meditate and work on ourselves, and to just recognize what a privilege and a luxury it is for us. When you think of many people on the planet who are just concerned about, having clean water that day. So what I'm suggesting is that a way of dealing with some of the sense of it's overwhelming, I can't deal with this, the systems that are in place that seem too powerful, that knocking your head against it, pushing against it, is just creating more polarity and more standstill, and it's and adding to the same kind of dynamic of conflict. And that as we cultivate a sense of power within, leading to a sense of power with, creating alliances, we instantly find that we're supporting those who are in need, power two. And it starts with ourselves, and not only cultivating for ourselves what it means for us to truly feel powerful within, but also to take care of ourselves. So I just want to offer that as a context that, what are you doing to make sure that you're not falling into the patterns that the media and our systems are so easily seducing us into? And what are you doing to stay steadfast in your commitment to who you are, and being resilient and flexible in that, as you cultivate that you don't have to bite the snake. You just have to follow your true nature of wanting to help those who are in need. So with that, I'd like to start our meditation. Meditation, what we call meditation for lasting peace. In a sense, different from meditation on peace. We can desire and wish for peace, and we should be doing that. Although it's a very abstract term, what does it actually mean, peace? Have we ever really had peace at any point in our world history? So if you investigate that, the answer might be no. And so you could say peace is kind of like a modern concept. But what is the difference between peace and lasting peace? Lasting peace is when each individual cultivates from their own desire to take responsibility, how they navigate the world, how they treat others, and how they treat themselves and their surroundings and the planet and the environment. So that's what we're doing, is we're cultivating that capacity to hold space for the possibility of a world where people do take more responsibility, which is we see in many traditions about love thy neighbor, know thyself, and let's add take care of the planet. So with that, we're going to do this from what we call the core exercise. The core exercise for lasting peace. There's a variation on the basic core exercise from the practice of respectful confrontation. If you're new to the work, I would suggest take a look at the website or maybe buy a copy of the book, Mastering Respectful Confrontation by Joe Weston. Have you heard of him? I hear he's a good guy. That's all hearsay, though. And this core exercise works with this principle of coming from your core, which is in your lower belly. So a way to investigate that is how do we identify where our core is? So it's the width of 3 fingers below your navel and a third of the way into the body. So if you put your fingers together like this and you place your index finger over your navel, where your pinky resides, where your pinky is, that's about the width of 3 fingers below your navel. So if you just place your attention on that spot, and from that spot, now bring your awareness inside of your body, about a third of the way into the body from the front of the body. And that is what I call the center. The Japanese would call it the hara, the Chinese would call it the dantian. I would say it's your center of gravity, impulse, creativity, and where your personal power resides. And it is the part of you that perceives your reality, your center of awareness, which is different from your feelings and different from your thoughts. Awareness. So finding a way to sit where you're comfortable, where you can be as still as possible, with no rigidity or tension. See if you can release any tension, particularly along your spine, so that you can allow energy to flow through the body freely, emotions to flow through freely. All feelings are welcome. Feeling the parts of your body that are connecting with chair or cushion or floor. Using those as contact points of connecting with this current moment. From those points, see if you can allow yourself to be held, allowing gravity to bring you closer to the ground. And bringing your full attention to your center. And if you find your mind wandering to other things during this exercise, notice the wandering and just at some point, just remind yourself, oh, where do I need to focus? Certainly one place to come back to is your center, home. From your center, become aware of your physical body. All you're doing at this point is listening from a place of awareness, becoming aware of. From your center, become aware of your emotional body, your feelings. From your center, become aware of your mental body, your thoughts. Using all of these areas to bring yourself more in contact with what's happening in this present moment, first from the perspective of yourself. Keeping your awareness in your center, foundation of this exercise. And now bringing also awareness to your heart, or the middle of your chest, where I would say your heart power resides. Compassion, love, forgiveness, gratitude, connection. Bringing in unison, you could say, your personal power and your heart power. And from your personal power and your heart power, from your center and from your heart, ask yourself the question, how connected do I feel at this moment to something larger than myself? And the mental body is going to usually get caught up in what that is and the abstractness of it. I recommend you get connected to your center and your heart and be more open to the experience of it. What does it feel like to be connected to something larger than yourself? Allowing energy to flow and emotions to flow. With more of an awareness of yourself at this moment, physically, emotionally, mentally, maybe spiritually. Take a full breath in, deep in through your nose and out through your mouth. Connecting in a deeper sense with yourself in this present moment. Now, with more of an awareness of yourself in this present moment, connecting from your personal power and your heart with yourself. Keeping your eyes closed, opening up to an awareness and a deeper connection with your surroundings. From your center and from your heart. Behind you, in front of you, to the left of you, right, above, below. Sounds, smells. Opening to a deeper awareness to what's happening at this present moment. And with more of an awareness of yourself and your surroundings in this present moment, from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in, deep in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now with more awareness of yourself and your surroundings at this moment, increasing your capacity of expanding your awareness from your center and from your heart, open to a connection with those who are on this call for this meditation. In various parts of the United States and Europe. And can you actually feel from your center and from your heart that you're making a connection with those who are on this meditation? Just maintaining your breath, deep breaths into your heart. And now with a deeper connection in this present moment with yourself, your surroundings, and your connection with your fellow meditators on this call. Maintaining that in your awareness. Now even increasing your capacity of awareness to all human beings. Starting with those that you would call loved ones. From your center and from your heart, opening to a connection with all those beings, human beings on this planet that you would call loved ones. And depending on your life experience, they could be all over the planet. And actually considering that maybe what the possibility that you're actually influencing them right at this very moment in some way, and that they are influencing you in some way. And opening up to a deeper connection with other human beings, for instance, those who you might call strangers, from your center and from your heart, opening to the billions of beings, human beings, that you would label or call strangers. They could be living right down the street from you, can be on the other side of the planet. And from your center and from your heart, seeing, noticing the connection you're making with them now. And as we continue to open up a connection with other human beings, now opening to a deeper connection from your center and from your heart with those that you might consider adversaries. And noticing, allowing energy to flow and emotions to flow. And now with more of an awareness of yourself, with your surroundings, with your connection with your fellow meditators on this call, and with your connection with all human beings, whether they be friends, strangers, or adversaries. Deep in your heart, from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Just allow yourself to let your body, your nervous system integrate the efforts you've just put in. As you expand your capacity for resilient power, for fierce compassion, deeper levels of presence and connection. And imagining practicing this exercise on a regular basis, that you can actually, what you're experiencing now, you can actually walk this in the world at all times, regardless of the level of stress. And now, seeing if you can maintain this capacity that you've cultivated, this awareness, might be expansive as we bring it back into ourselves. First, starting with keeping this sense of expansion as you now bring back your focus to just the circle of meditators on this call. And bringing your awareness back into your room, the room you're in, the surroundings. And lastly, bringing that sense of awareness that you've cultivated now as you bring more attention back to yourself, bringing back to your core and your heart. And before we close this meditation, taking one last breath, full breath, deep into your heart, in through your nose, out through your mouth. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes and shake your body. Look around your room. Look at your own body. And does anybody have a couple of words you want to share of your experience? We always do our meditation, then people can check in, and if they've had any insights or something they want to share. If you don't feel comfortable talking, you can type, just briefly.
Yeah, for me, actually, I got the feeling that as if I've done that before, maybe because I felt like so relaxed and focused, and it's for me like a sort of praying. So I am prayer, but like this time I felt like, I'm taking it in so quickly, and I enjoyed it, and I feel like self-focused. So that was amazing. I felt like, the inside of my body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was amazing.
You could say, Randa, that what you're experiencing is embodied prayer,
Yes.
and you could also say that what you're experiencing is who you truly are. That it sounds like for you, it seems like, oh, this is familiar.
Yeah, it was familiar. It was
Yeah.
familiar, but like in a very nice, juicy way. It's familiar, but it's different in a nice way.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I had a sense of the beauty of nurturing capacity. Like I could feel like my capacity growing over these weeks and doing this call, and also the sweetness of being connected with you all in this way. It just felt very delish.
Yes. Well, I'll speak for myself. I feel that having you on the call as well. So.
I feel serene, and at the end I had the thought, heart leads the way.
Heart leads the way. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was very much aware how much love and goodness is still in this world. Despite everything. Yeah, and I felt very supported, and I had tears running down. Sitting there.
Thank you, Chris. We feel your heart. And you're not alone. Remember that.
Very reassuring.
Yeah. Thank you. Every Tuesday morning, Chris.
Yes.
Okay. Well, as I always say, if there's more you want to share offline, you can always send me an email. And I truly appreciate this. It helps validate, what my mission is and what the mission is of so many others. And it's great to connect in this way. So next week we'll be here as well. And again, as I always say, keep telling your friends about this, and see, particularly if you know people in other parts of the planet, that'll be kind of fun. And we always close with a dedication. So let's do that. We started with a motivation. We do our practice. We actually put time and effort into cultivating more loving kindness and more compassion and wisdom. And in our current way of being in the world, where things move so fast, it's quite miraculous that anybody takes the time to do that. So with that level of preciousness of our efforts, let's direct that towards some good intentions and good and aspirations. So for your own inner peace, for yourself, for the inner peace of others, for those who may be struggling, just dedicate and offer this energy to them with palms open, just an offering. And as I always do, somebody else want to say my two favorites? May all beings have enough food and drinking water. What's the other one?
I don't have it quite, but all governments lead from love and not fear. Wait, how do you say it?
That's good. I say wisdom and not greed and fear. I think I do say fear. Yeah. Add a little wisdom into that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, let's take a final breath. And blessings to you all. Have a great week. And keep doing what you're doing. And I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, loved ones.